Good evening, afternoon, or night. This is Ryzix. For those of you who do not know, I'm the individual behind the creation of the Emberlight Reports. In the past, I've made streams where people can sit in on and kind of see how all the Emberlight Reports are created. This video is for those individuals who really couldn't make it for whatever reason, or if you want something to reference in the future, if you want to make your own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you step by step of how they're made. And if you have any questions still afterwards, please feel free to leave a comment or hit me up directly, and I'll be happy to fill in the blanks. Now, this is just my personal workflow. There's absolutely better tools, better AI models, you name it. There's always something better that you can utilize. But at the very least, hopefully this gives you a decent launch point. If not, it just shows you at least the work that goes into it. So starting off, ChatGPT is invaluable to me in order to be able to efficiently write out the scripts for the Emberlight Reports. You can see I already have one already done. This is what we're going to be covering tonight. It's a very short one, relatively speaking. And covering just basically the Ba Sing Se arena where I and Ducky decided to fight Captain Baloo. Spoiler alert, we did not win. So what I'll do from here, once I have my script, and you can see it's sort of broken down, if the situation calls for multiple characters, you can see Arwan and Lee are separated. What I'll do is I'll take these and then I'll go over to this website called ElevenLabs. What ElevenLabs is it has a whole myriad of different usages. You can see text-to-speech, voice changer, sound effects. The vast majority of the time, use text-to-speech. While there is a free tier to this, if you're making videos and such, and going to be using it frequently, I highly recommend getting the subscription. It's not too bad. As far as credit usage, I don't think I've ever hit the limit at any point in time. Now you can see I've already copied and pasted the text over from our script over to our generator, and I'll just play a quick clip of it. That way you can kind of hear where the output is or get an idea of how it comes out. I'm not going to make you sit through listening to the whole thing while I try to figure out the best possible version. You can see here that you can add brackets to it, and this kind of helps with the particular tone. Sometimes, on the rare occasion, I may use the voice changer where you record your own voice and then it'll just change it into the character's voice. The last time I used that was in the video that I had made where I was interviewing Oak.
Good evening, afternoon, or night. This is Arwan May with the Emberlight Report. Today's broadcast steps away from the chaos of world events to focus on something far more primitive. Two Emberlight members, one of whom, regrettably, was me, entering the Ba Sing Se Pro Arena to see who could lose the least embarrassingly to Captain Baloo. Spoiler, neither one of us succeeded. The results were so lopsided, the Earth King requested an official investigation into structural damage. Unfortunately, to break down the carnage, I'm required by contract to bring in Lee Takrin.
Welcome to my new favorite segment, Baloo's Beatdowns, a two-course meal of violence with Arwan as the appetizer and Ducky as the entree.
So you can kind of see how it switches between the two characters and what they say. And then from there, we can just download the audio once we find a good one. I'm going to go ahead and listen to this off screen. That way you don't have to sit through it with me. So after listening to the two different generations, and you can absolutely do more and add tags or remove tags as you see fit, depending on the way you want it to sound. You just go ahead and hit the download button once we found it. And then from there, we'll take it to the next step. All right, so next up, we go to Audacity. This is a free software that anyone could download. And I'll just put the audio in here. So what I'm going to be doing at this point is I'm going to be listening to it step by step, and then I'm going to be visualizing how I want the product to ultimately look. So which parts are going to have Arwan talking or Lee talking as far as having their actual characters on screen versus having footage. So I'll be going through there, dividing this up appropriately, and I'll go ahead and give you a couple of, we'll do a couple of ones before I kind of fast forward it for you.
Evening, afternoon, or night. This is R1 May with the Emberlight Report. Today's broadcast steps away from the chaos of world events to focus on something far more primitive. Two Emberlight members, one of whom regrettably was me, entering the Ba Sing Se Pro Arena to see who could lose the least embarrassingly to Captain Baloo. Spoiler, neither one of us succeeded. The results were so lopsided, the Earth King requested an official investigation into structural damage. Unfortunately, to break down the carnage, I'm required by contract to bring in Lee Takrin.
Welcome.
So I'm going to cut it there before Lee starts talking. Typically, I don't like having, just because of how expensive the video generation is for the characters, I try not to have them be super long. But of course, you know, if you have the funds for it and you're able to, I guess, afford it, then you're able to make as many as you want, of course. So this will be a longer one, and I'll go ahead and save that separately, and then we'll get to Lee.
Segment, Baloo's Beatdowns, a two-course meal of violence with Arwan as the appetizer and Ducky as the entree. And Arwan, go ahead and take notes. This is the part where I explain why you should never be allowed near a professional arena again, because Captain Baloo didn't win.
So I'm going to have that cut right here. Okay. And so it's pretty much the process moving forward. So I'm going to be going through, dividing up what I want to be generated versus what is going to have footage, and then we'll take it to the next step. Okay, now that I have the audio divided up, so you can see here, so I have A1, 2, 3, F, L. So the A's are for R1, F is for footage, L is for Lee. The ones that are marked specifically for them are the ones where I'm going to be using the video generation, which is going to lead to our next tool. So this is the website that I utilize for the lip syncing portion. So what this does, or allows me to do, is take a 2D image, regular image, and it'll sync it up to the audio. This is probably the most costly portion of making the Emberlight reports, just because the technology, well, it's expensive. Now this website is great. I like it because you can use a whole bunch of different AI models all in one place versus having to get a whole bunch of different subscriptions. So it is useful for that purpose. I'll go ahead and select from my drop-down. Usually the OpenArt lip sync one works just fine. Every now and then you get some weird artifacts that you have to deal with. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take my typical image of R1 and go and put it here. You also, it helps to have a prompt. So I have a little file that I save my prompts that I typically use for R1 or Lee respectively. And then I'll go ahead and put, so here's our A1 audio. So this is going to, you can see here, it's going to take 525 of my 12,000 credits. And that adds up pretty quick. So the longer the audio, obviously, the longer, more credits it's going to take. And also the longer it's going to take to generate. So I'm going to go ahead and blast these off one by one and wait for them to generate, and then we'll move on to the next portion. So I did want to bring this up. As you can see, some of the videos have generated. So here's one from R1 that's finished.
Thank you, Lee. Your commitment to narrating my trauma remains overwhelming.
So you can see they came out pretty good for R1. For some reason, when it comes to Lee Takrin, his tends to screw up a little bit more. So here's one example.
That's not a battle. That's a wellness check that R1 failed.
So for some reason, his hands turn into some sort of look like barbells or something. That's not what we want. And unfortunately, we don't get our credits back for crappy generations. So that is a downside. I'm currently having it run through. For this one.
Now on to formerly known as Ducky, now going by Black Fang for legal protection purposes, but we're using her real name today because she earned the publicity.
You can kind of see how the background, for some reason, again, with just Lee Takrin, it gets blurry or fuzzy, and that's typical, but you know what? I'm not going to waste any more credits on that, so that's fine. And then we'll go ahead and pick up when the other ones are done as well. All right, finally, all our generation is done. I had to redo a couple of them because he was still holding onto those barbells. But we have our videos that we can utilize and move on to the next step, which is the this comes with Microsoft. I think for mine, because I use Office 360 or whatever the hell it's called these days. I have a subscription to that, and it includes this. I would, if you have access to Adobe Creative Cloud, and you can use After Effects or Adobe Premiere, I recommend using those. I wish I could use those, but I cannot. So from here, what we'll do is we'll import all our assets that we have in here. And, you know, all things considered, for a relatively free or included program, it's not a bad video software. I mean, it gets the job done. And go ahead and put these in here as well. Cool. So this is a bit of the more time-consuming process. Just editing the whole thing, putting it together. Thankfully for this one, it shouldn't be too difficult. So for this, I actually created this asset independent because I figured I'm going to be using it into the future. So I'll just toss that in there. And then now I have these numbered. And you can go ahead and sort it by name, ascending. That, I mean, I find it a little bit easier to find what I'm looking for. So we're going to take all the different pieces that we have.
Because Captain...
Oop, and just start throwing them in. So we have our R1 that we're going to have first. Then after that, we're going to put our L2 and so on. So the process is going to continue. I'm going to get them in the right order. Again, I'm not going to let you or make you sit through all that. So I'll just go ahead and show you what how it all looks once I put them together. Alrighty, so I went ahead and put everything together. And so you can kind of see, I'll just go and scrub through, that way you get an idea. So another thing that I did that I wish I would have done sooner, with this particular nameplate thing right here, in the past I had to do it manually each time. So what I've done now is I've created my own asset and just added the green screen filter to it, or effect to it. Yeah, effect. And so I mean, you can still kind of see green around the fringes, but it saves me on time, and I can use it over and over again. So I'm more than okay with it. But yeah, this is the basic, very basic process of it all. If you are curious to see the full process in real time, I can have another stream if there's enough demand for it. Hopefully this video was educational enough, or at least gave you an idea of what you could do if you wanted to. So all that's left at this point is just to export it and then put it on Discord, and that's all there is. Well, thank you much for watching. This was the very first tutorial that I've ever recorded. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. If I do some in the future, I'll try to get better at it. Bye.